Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Yo, what up? Welcome back to another edition of Scott Plex City. You can hit that subscribe button in Pank's podcast, and you'll be notified whenever we drop a new edition of Scott Plex City. I'm Scott Pank. That's Scottie B right there.
What do you say?
Big news leading into this week is...
What is it?
We got a Trish Stratus interview coming up for
What?
you in about 25 minutes or so. So the last 5 minutes, we'll talk with Trish. Now listen, we didn't have that much time with her, unfortunately, because we got pushed back with the last interview. A lot of stuff's been going on today to record this interview and to get this Trish Stratus interview, all that stuff. But listen, we asked her a song. We only get a few minutes, so we didn't get to dive in. So you marks, you be good. We know we didn't get to ask everything, but we asked some important stuff.
But 5 minutes with Trish Stratus is better than no minutes with Trish Stratus.
I just need one. 30 seconds, really. Maybe.
Don't go there, Scott. Don't go there.
Okay. You knew I was going to go.
We want her to call back at some point. You know?
We do want her to call back. Thank you for making the time and with us. We definitely appreciate that.
Totally awesome.
So coming up last week on you won. I can't remember the exact numbers, but you definitely won the match predictions.
Because you picked Ty Dillinger for that first match, and it was obvious the new guy there was going to win, who I still can't remember his freaking name.
No. I didn't really like his intro.
Cien, that's all I know. It's like
Cien.
I was calling him that because that's, I believe, Spanish for 100, and then I think Lita said something in the pre-show that I believe 100 is better, is like 10 times better than 10, and then Corey Graves kind of gave a whole eyes roll in the back of his head, like, yeah, okay, no duh.
Speaking of 100 and 100 emoji, how about Enzo with those 100 emoji pants on? But anyways, that's not the real thing, but we got our first glimpse at the New Day taking on Enzo and Big Cass and what it could be with a verbal battle. And when they get going, when we get this, it's going to be so funny.
It was so strange, but so hilarious and so great at the same time.
Yeah.
Just talking about Francesca like the trombone was an actual woman. They're just great. No matter what they do.
Only I blow my girl. And the face that Xavier Woods made when he was so serious. Like, and then Enzo just playing at first he's like, Frankie. And Enzo's like, Frankie who? Or Xavier's like, Frankie who? He's like, Francesca, whatever. How you do?
I don't.
How you do?
I don't.
Excited for this match to come up. We'll do our match predictions and all that for Money in the Bank in just a little bit. But this tag team division is starting to really become something special right now.
It's getting bigger and better. I think they're going to really start pushing it more since they're going to do the brand split. I'm guessing they're probably going to end up doing 2 sets of tag team champs.
They would have to, right?
I think they're going to probably end up doing the 2 sets of world champs, 2 sets of the world tag team champs. And they got to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing so they have a lot on one side and a lot on the other.
And they're really, kind of starting to put the divide with some people. Looks like Shane is starting to kind of get his people on his side, like Sami Zayn. And Steph's getting people on her side, like Kevin Owens. They're kind of starting to build really for it right now. They kind of keep going back and forth of who's going to be taking control of SmackDown. 1 minute it's Shane, then the next minute it's Steph, then the next minute it's Shane, so...
Something tells me that Steph is going to end up taking Raw, and Shane's going to take SmackDown, basically because SmackDown has always been the redheaded stepchild.
Right.
So, to make it that much better, have the face be the GM of that one, because Raw is already what it is, to build SmackDown to be just as good, if not
SmackDown needs
better.
the ratings.
Exactly.
If you're going to put Shane anywhere where, honestly, it will benefit the company the most, it will be... SmackDown. So we're starting to really kind of see that develop over the weeks, and now we're going to really see where it leads next with who they're going to kind of put on their teams, because they're definitely causing that separation between everybody. There is also the contract signing for AJ Styles and John Cena.
Which was awesome.
That was pretty damn, pretty good. A lot better than what I really anticipated that this feud would be. AJ Styles has really stepped up his mic work, I personally feel.
And I always like when Cena is serious Cena. He always can be a goofball. He's always funny when he's a goofball. But when he's serious, his promos are intense, and it makes you actually really like him. If you're not a huge fan of him, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of sick of the character, but I'm always digging it when he's Mr. Serious, he's down, dirty, and wants to fight. I always like that. And when he does promos like that, he shows you why he's been the man for so long.
He is the top dog for a reason.
Exactly.
And it's not because he's
the dog that runs the place, yes.
And it's really cool how AJ is really referencing how, hey, you're the face of the company. You bury guys like me. I'm not going to allow this to happen this time. Oh, I see what you're trying to do, Cena. You're trying to put me and my boys Gallows and Anderson against each other with the contract signing. Which, another thing, why was nobody out there orchestrating
that is
the contract signing? Why does Cena...
Because I think Michael Cole was out there at one point, but it wasn't like he foresaw the signature or anything like that. They didn't have Shane, they didn't have Stephanie, even the almighty Vince out there or anything like that. That was a little strange the way they did that.
Even put, what's his name, not Baron Corbin, Brian Saxton.
Oh, Byron Saxton.
Byron Saxton. Have him do the damn thing. Like, have somebody be out there and to be the official person that watches over the signature. And why is Cena out there saying, this is what goes on, this is what goes on? Does Cena have a role in the...
Because he's the man who runs the place.
So that's why he gets to do it?
Of course! He's Super Cena. He can do anything that he wants. I don't know.
Cena was on that,
Maya and Marty?
Yeah.
I saw the video that he was impersonating Hulk Hogan.
It was pretty fun.
I'll have to actually watch the whole show.
Shout out to Steve. He put me onto it this morning when I came in, and I watched it a little bit before we started doing all this podcast.
Not a bad Hulk Hogan impersonation, by the way.
It was pretty good.
That was pretty dope.
Cena might actually, if he was to ever really kind of become a Rock level, he might actually be able to do something with it, because he actually is
He's not that bad of an actor. I mean, I've seen some of his movies.
Lead role, that's questionable, but when he's like a second, third, fourth wheel type person, he
was hilarious
good.
in Trainwrecked.
Yeah, that's that Amy Schumer movie, right? Yeah, that one bed scene was hands down one of the funniest
the movie
moments.
scene, oh my god. I can't, reiterate what he said in most of that scene, but very funny.
It was
definitely not PG.
No, not PG at all. At all. Do you think we're leaving the PG era?
I doubt it. I mean, they'll probably do some stuff here and there.
Is the new era really a new era?
They're pushing the new guys. I mean, the way they pushed the New Day, Enzo and Cass, Gallows and Anderson, and the Vaudevillains in that was the first big segment of the show. That shows you they're leaning towards the new guys.
Well, they did have the veteran out there. You respect your veteran.
That's true, Kofi. I still don't consider him a veteran, though.
I loved how
he's been there for like 10 years, but for some
that.
reason I don't consider him a veteran.
That was pretty funny, in my opinion.
He seems like he's new.
But just because, though, there's new people added to the mix doesn't mean it's a new era. And that's what I'm kind of starting to get. Just because they're new people, the product is getting better because the wrestlers are better.
This is true.
The storylines aren't that much different.
No.
They're
Wrestling
not
will be
cussing
wrestling
or more blood or
forever.
anything.
Exactly. I mean, the storylines are always you're always gonna have ones that are very similar throughout the years. 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. It's always gonna be the same. You'll see a storyline. Oh yeah, they kind of did that back in the. Oh yeah, they kind of did something like that back in the 90s. It's never gonna be too different. But like you said, yeah, the wrestlers, the wrestling itself is always gonna be a little bit different as well. Yeah.
But PG era, I would still say it really is PG era.
It's always going to be.
Unfortunately.
They're going to push for more of the family entertainment, but with the network, they can do stuff like they do with the Camp WWE and NXT and stuff like that. They can fiddle with stuff and make that maybe a little more adult oriented, so they can appease everyone.
I got FU reflex. And I could do this on camera because I know how to cover those up on camera. That's so good. I love how on the latest episode he's sliding down a slide, and the whole time he's going down the slide, he's got the birds up. It's just that FU reflex. What can he say? It's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Vince McMahon on that show is the greatest thing ever. You'll never catch me. Oh,
How is he going to come into play with the brand separation?
I think... I don't know.
He's coming into play somehow. How is it?
That... I don't... I would have thought possibly if they didn't actually talk about a brand... They've already talked about it and say it's going to happen. So if they didn't do that, I would have thought he's going to come into play because Shane and Steph are button heads. He's going to be like, okay, that's it. We're going to shake things up a little bit. Shake it up. And that'd be that. But now that they're flat out saying that there's going to be a brand split, I don't know where he would fit in. I don't know if he's going to. If he has to. I mean...
Does he be, is he like a guy on both shows like, I oversee it all?
I wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, he is the man. He's Vince McMahon. You know,
does he have that energy though anymore?
I don't know. To me, what they're doing now, because I think he is ready to possibly hang it up sometime soon. Because he kind of looks like... I think he's always going to have the energy to do it, but it's like he's got Stephanie now. If Shane's back in the mix for the long run, he doesn't have to do as much as he used to do all the time. Triple H is obviously helping run things too, so I think maybe this is kind of Vince's way to maybe slowly but surely step back and start handing over the reins to the rest of the family.
I think that would be the smart decision as well at this point in time. It's a new era.
He's 70 years old, for God's sake.
You got to start to let things change, and at a certain point in your life, you got to let go. And especially if it's your family.
Yeah, I still love Vince to death.
And I don't mean let go of life.
No.
I just mean let go of like everything that you felt so close. Like trust that your family and your son and daughter are going to take the business in the right direction.
Of course, Vince McMahon's not going to die. You've watched Camp WWE.
I forgot. Of course, he's God.
You mean he's?
So we're going to talk...
You think I'm going to die? I'm never going to die!
We're going to talk about Brock Lesnar in a minute. We'll make our predictions for Money in the Bank. We'll talk about the Shield reuniting in the ring and what this could possibly mean if Dean Ambrose was to win the Money in the Bank briefcase.
They teased that hard time on Raw.
But I want to start right here with Brock Lesnar. He's, it's official going down UFC 200.
Talked about that last week, yep.
He's allegedly allowed, they're going to pass on steroids, like they're going to give him a pass on that, right?
And Mark Hunt said something like he's got to be totally juiced up because of that.
So if they're
that makes some sense to me, because in WWE they have the wellness policy.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow Brock in there. He wouldn't be on TV. He wouldn't be around anywhere. It wouldn't matter if he's one of the huge top stars. You ain't passing no steroid tests. You're gone, pal. You're gone for 60 days or however it is.
So it's kind of that makes me.
That might be the reason. That might be the reason why they're letting him pass, because since he is in WWE, they've got the testing over there. Why do they have to do it again over in the UFC?
Right. They might just assume that hey, if they're going to use him, and if he's coming up on SummerSlam and he's going to be used at SummerSlam, obviously he's not on the juice, because why would he be in the ring? So that whole thing is kind of confusing to me, just because I don't get the point of what Mark Hunt is saying there about him being all on the juice, because it's not allowed in the WWE. Unless we're having the wool pulled over our blind, or...
Eyes.
What's that? Yeah, thank you. Wool pulled over our eyes.
It's been a long day.
It's been a crazy day. So I don't get the whole point of that. Is he saying everybody, when he says Brock Lesnar's on juice, is he now saying that everybody's on the juice in WWE?
That could be. Or maybe it's just Mark Hunt's way of coming up with an excuse if he gets his ass kicked. Oh, he was on the juice, that's why he beat me.
That's probably more likely there.
He's just afraid, I'm going to get my butt kicked and they're okay. That's the excuse I'm going to do. I don't know why he'd be scared from a guy who hasn't fought MMA in 5-6 years to a guy who has fought not so long ago and is still fighting. So, I don't know. I don't know why he's coming up with this.
Yeah, it's just...
the wellness policy, they obviously go after people in WWE mad.
There's been how many suspensions already this year?
For it. And some guys you look at and you're like, wait a minute, that guy was on something? How is that possible? It might not actually be roids or anything like that. Might be some other prescription or non-prescription medicine or whatever, but it doesn't matter. They're going after everything over there in WWE, so what makes him think that Brock is going to be taking something and be allowed and then come UFC, whatever.
Right. We are about to talk about the Shield reuniting real quick. We also got this Trish Stratus interview coming up in just a few minutes. We'll also make our WWE Money in the Bank predictions in 1 minute. But first, because we got a little bit of technical difficulties real quick, I'm going to literally stop this podcast, but when we come back, we're going to act like we didn't stop it.
Stop! Hammer time!
All right, we're back. That's a good thing about podcasts. You can stop, and then start right back up.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we've had cameras fail us today. We've had printers fail us today.
We almost lost our connection with Trish Stratus when we had our little interview with her because we started talking and she couldn't hear us. Had to call back. We were like wondering what the heck goes up with that. Murphy's Law today. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
And it has. So we're going to talk about the Shield reuniting. It was during the Ambrose Asylum.
Which is back.
He had Seth come out. He had Roman come out. They cut their promo on each other saying who's better, who's going to win it and everything. But then Dean flipped it at the end and said, but what if I win the Money in the Bank?
Serious tease.
And he's all looking up and everything. And let's speculate. What if he does win, how does he do it? My brother said something pretty interesting yesterday. He said it would be cool if he cashed in the Money in the Bank at the beginning, like, of a match. Like, oh, you know that he's doing it because he's the lunatic. He don't care. He's going to come out and he's just going to challenge you right from the get-go. Something similar to how Cena did it. But it would make more sense if somebody like Dean did it. I was like, oh, that would be good for his character. Or have him come out at the end of WrestleMania and screw over who's in WrestleMania. Screw over Seth maybe this time.
Yeah. I would think it'd be cool if he was to win the Money in the Bank, because more than likely the championship match will be last.
Yep.
That's usually the way they do it.
Money in the Bank will be probably first. You don't think?
I would think that would be best to be in the middle, but who knows where they'll put it. I would think probably the tag team match might be first, but
okay.
I digress. Have him win the Money in the Bank, and like your brother said, have like right before the championship match, have him come out. I'm cashing it in right now. This is going to be a triple threat, and really
that would be cool.
Match off like mad.
Because we want the triple threat Shield matches.
Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking it won't happen basically because they teased it so badly like that he's not going to win the Money in the Bank.
So how do they get us this Dean, Seth, and Roman triple threat? Do they tease it a whole nother year to a whole nother Money in the Bank?
I'm thinking though somehow it'll happen at WrestleMania at some point.
They gotta cash it somehow.
I don't know if he'll actually cash it in. Of course, we got the whole brand split going on right now, so who knows if these guys are even going to be.
Do you want to separate them?
I don't want to separate them, but more than likely, the star power with those three, they're not going to be all on the same roster. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. Will they be all together come WrestleMania next year? Because I think that was an idea possibly for this year to have a Shield triple threat.
I would love it.
Seth was obviously hurt and all that kind of stuff. The idea I just had there, that would be a good way to have those three go against each other. It's got to happen at some point, but if the roster split happens and all three of those guys are not on the same roster, what's going to happen for the idea for WrestleMania?
Maybe they have to do it at Money in the Bank like that because it's the only way they can get the triple threat.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen once the roster split happens.
Yeah. I'm thinking possibly they'll give it to either Owens or Sami Zayn. Because I think those guys are in for a serious push. So
yeah,
I'm thinking it's
absolutely.
going to be one of those two that ends up winning the Money in the Bank.
It has to be one of them, too.
Yeah.
No. One of the three. I still consider Dean highly up there.
He's up there.
I think Sammy and Kevin definitely one of those two or Dean. It's those three.
Yeah,
Alberto, no. Chris Jericho, no.
Because they basically teased it way too much to the fact that, at the end of this past Raw, that he was holding on to the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, okay, it's definitely not happening with him.
Who's in it again?
It is Dean.
Yep.
It is Sammy. It is Kevin Owens. It is Cesaro. It is Jericho.
Cesaro is what I was missing.
Yes,
okay.
and Del Rio.
Yeah, definitely don't see Cesaro doing. Even though Cesaro's character has developed a lot over this feud.
I mean, I love his new character.
It's good.
Yeah.
The whole Intercontinental Championship scene that they were all a part of now, they're still a part of, but now they're going for the title. That group right there, that's the group.
Has been one of the best things going for WWE. I mean, not much going on with The Miz right now because he's filming a movie, The Fifth Marine, but he was part of that too, and he was just as much a huge part of it as all those other guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need to get this Shield triple threat match happening ASAP here, because if the brand split comes, there's a chance we may not see it, and then they lose out on a whole bunch of money. But then at the same time, it's like, is it good just to cash in that one thing and not tease Dean cashing in? Because of all the money that could be made from them being on? Could they still put Dean on SmackDown and Seth and Roman on Raw and still have Dean cash in
that
for
could
the
still well
title?
happen too, because I mean he might have the Money in the Bank, and they could possibly have 2 titles, which I'm thinking they probably will. If they don't have the 2 titles, it could still work out that way. Him not being on the same roster as those two, and he comes to cash in because hey, I've got the Money in the Bank, I can cash it in for the title. If the champion is on both shows, like they possibly might do, which I'm not hearing. You're hearing so many things about what might happen in this roster split. If it happens that way, if he's holding on to it, boom, he can go to any show he wants and cash it in and have it be like that.
My favorite kayfabe news is that somebody is like posting that there's going to be like 52 pay-per-views.
There is talk about 2 a month now. 1 SmackDown, 1 Raw. There is talk about that sort of thing.
Don't do it. We discussed this last week.
Yeah, I don't want to. That's overkill, because you already have 3 hours of Raw. You can have live SmackDowns. You got your NXT, and then everything else that's going on there. You don't need these overblown Raws and SmackDowns too.
It's going to lose the allure of it.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Maybe you could do a SmackDown special once every 3 months, quarter, whatever. Maybe you do only 4 SmackDowns a year. But every month, too? Come on, that's too much. I don't have that much time. I may be a nerd and a dork and all that stuff for loving WWE and everything,
Plus, you have the other wrestling, too, that I enjoy to watch. I like to watch Ring of Honor.
But there's only so much we can watch.
I will watch Impact if there's nothing else on. Of course, a lot of people couldn't watch it, I guess, on Tuesday night, because there was something happened with the Pop TV feed or whatever. I don't know exactly what happened there, since I didn't watch the show at all, since I barely do.
They made the right decision by letting EC3 beat The Miracle.
Yes.
That was the right decision, and but that product is hurting. This whole new character Jeff Hardy has.
Matt Hardy.
Is it Matt?
It's Matt.
Matt?
He's got the stripe in his hair now, looking all weird,
Freaking crazy, like... That's why they're failing.
I can't watch that product. I mean, it's just the storylines are just so god-awful. I don't mind a lot of the wrestling.
Like Eli and Miracle.
Eli Drake, him too. EC3 is really good. Yeah, lots of great wrestlers. I mean, even the Hardy Boys are great wrestlers, but the storylines are such crap.
That's the problem.
That makes it so hard to watch.
That's like with the argument I have with my brother all the time. Is like, it's a good product. The wrestlers are good, but the storylines and all that suck, and that's why it's horrible.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Ring of Honor. They don't really focus on storylines so much. It's basically just the pure wrestling, so it makes you want to watch it. You don't have to be like, okay, what are they going to do this week? No, it's just these guys don't like this guy, and boom, they fight. That's all there is to it.
Like Ring of Honor and Lucha, they're not like WWE product.
Yeah.
They're different than that, where
Lucha's too much of a soap opera, and I can't watch that.
TNA is literally WWE light. At least Lucha's different than WWE. Ring of Honor's different than WWE.
TNA is trying way too hard to be
Yep.
WWE, and it's just not working.
We got this Trish Stratus interview coming up right after we make these predictions. Money in the Bank. Anything that we missed from Raw. There was all the matches.
Lots of great matches. Sami Zayn and Cesaro was a classic. Jericho and Ambrose went at it again. Another great match. And I think we talked about the contract signing of AJ Styles and John Cena. And
the women's
match, Paige and Charlotte. Another great match there, too.
Kind of short, though.
Kind of short, but Charlotte pulled out a Ric Flair type flop, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Just like her dad.
Yeah, God. You can see it runs in the family. All right, so let's start here. Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin once again.
On the pre-show again.
Pre-show again. What's the point?
I hate to see that because I like both these guys.
This time I'm going with Dolph.
I think they're pushing Baron too much on this, so I'm going to go with...
This is going to be the one that separates us again.
Yes.
Sheamus and Apollo Crews. Apollo wins. Because he got beat down by Sheamus on Monday Night Raw.
Wow. Yeah, I'll go with Apollo Crews on that one, too.
Rusev versus Titus O'Neil.
I'm going to stick with Rusev.
Me too. Charlotte versus Dana... Oh, wow. Charlotte and Dana Brooks versus Becky Lynch and Natalie. I didn't know that's what they changed it to.
I'm going to go with Charlotte and Dana Brooks.
Me too. One of these I'm going to have to go out on a limb and just pick somebody different here. The New Day versus the Von Villains versus Enzo and Big Cass versus the Club for the WWE World Heavyweight
Tag Team Championships. Wow. I'm going to go out on a limb here because no one's going to expect it. The Von Villains take the titles.
Wow. I say the Club takes the titles because that's what I say. AJ versus John. I'm
going to go AJ. Since he has to win it on his own, and no one's going to expect it because he's got to be on his own, AJ wins it.
I agree with that. Roman versus Seth Rollins. Rollins got that title back.
I'm going to go Roman Reigns.
But there can't be another match after this between them two.
Who says?
Well, if you go by, you lose your match, it's not like he's...
Rematch clause? There's a rematch clause?
Only if you're champion.
No, not necessarily. Oh, come on. AJ Styles got a couple of chances. He lost that first match. He got a rematch with Roman Reigns the next pay-per-view.
All right, so here's the big thing for the night.
All right.
Money in the Bank. Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Alberto, Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho, 2016 Money in the Bank ladder match. Who climbs that ladder, grabs that briefcase, which I hear is going to become a hard drive, more kayfabe news, and use it and eventually cash in to become champion.
I'm going to go with Kevin Owens.
And I am going with Dean Ambrose. Wow, we did enough difference here that there's definitely one of us.
There's going to be
no
a solid
tie.
winner right here, yes.
Yes, look at that. So we got this Trish Stratus interview about to happen. She joined us today because she's promoting the new movie Gridlock, which is available on Blu-ray and DVD. You get it from TrishStratus.com. You're going to hear us repeat all of that in just a second once again. But we do, we talk a little bit about the movie. Like we said earlier, we only had a few minutes with her, but a few minutes with Trish is better than no minutes with Trish.
Absolutely.
And we did ask some questions about the actual current product. Some important questions. There were some other questions that we would have liked to have asked, but unfortunately we just didn't have the time to do that. So next time we get her, we got more questions to ask her. So at least it won't be the same interview again next time we talk to her, because in the interview she says, hey, next time I'm promoting something, I'll be talking with you guys.
Awesome.
So thank you, Trish. All right, so enjoy the interview. Thank you very much for tuning in to Scott Plex City. Hit that subscribe button, Pank's Podcast. That way you get notified whenever we drop the show. You could subscribe in Stitcher, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. At Scott Radio is the handle to get at me, Scottie B.
That is Scottie B 1976. That's on Twitter. You can get me at Scottie Bizzle 76 on Instagram, and find me at Scottie Blaine on the Facebook. That is Scottie with an I-E, not a Y.
So here's this Trish Stratus interview. Enjoy. It's Jams 96.3 Hip Hop and Hits. What up? It's Scott Pank. Also joining us this afternoon, Scottie B. And we got a very special guest who is in the movie Gridlock, which is available now on Blu-ray and DVD. You could also get it from TrishStratus.com. And speaking of Trish Stratus is joining us right now. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm definitely doing good. It's a pleasure for you to join us this afternoon. And the movie Gridlock, like we said, is available now. So, what was your role actually in this movie here?
Well, the Gridlock is about a team of super elite police officers. We're like an elite SWAT team, and led by David Hendricks, who is our leader. He's Dominic Purcell, played by Dominic Purcell from Tomorrowland, and soon to be returning Prison Break. And we are kind of just chilling in our police facility, and we get invaded by some mercenaries. And at that point, literally right like in the beginning, action ensues from that point on. And it is a real just shoot 'em up, tons of kind of fight scenes. It's just like a throwback to that old school feel of movies, you know, the Lethal Weapon, Die Hard kind of feel. And the director actually set out to do that. So it's just a real fun movie. I'm super proud of it, and the fight scenes are like just off the chain, if I do say so myself.
What was it so much that drew you to this movie?
Well, it could be that cast that you mentioned. Yeah, the cast was, playing, listen, it's my second feature film, so to be able to work with someone like, Dominic Purcell, Danny Glover, Stephen Lang from Avatar, and Vinnie Jones, I was just honored, and it helps me elevate my game. Going in there, I definitely went in prepared. I worked with the acting coach. I knew my material, definitely had the fight scenes down. I had worked with the fight coordinator beforehand and got some weapons training and things like that, so I was definitely prepared. But knowing that, when you're working with this caliber of actors, you got to bring your A game, and I just wanted to take full advantage of this amazing opportunity I was given. So that was the main thing, and of course the fight scenes that I was given, it just in the script lured me that they were just so kick butt that I was like, this is going to be great to work with, knowing that when I actually got there and could physically work with the fight coordinator, we could do some magic and put some stuff together. So it was cool to see him take the Trish Stratus feel and kind of work it in a little Trish Stratus flavor in the Chyna character and my fans. It would be like a wink to my fans, actually. You'll see that.
So it really wasn't so hard to really work in those fight scenes since you have all that training with WWE and whatnot. That it was very easy to do all those fight scenes that you did, right?
It was. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different type of fighting. Movie fighting is different than wrestling fighting, I would say for sure. But the physicality of it, the timing of it, knowing how to sell properly, it definitely translates well. And obviously we've seen that from, John Cena, The Rock, Batista. Something works.
Right, we are talking with Trish Stratus right now. The movie Gridlock is available on Blu-ray and DVD, and we don't want to spend too much time here on the WWE, but how would you feel about Chyna being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I would be supportive of that. I think she did, obviously the question marks come up about what she did post-WWE, but to be honest, I don't think we're really, the Hall of Fame should focus on the career of the superstar.
Right,
and not
absolutely.
on, whatever people did afterwards, that's, you're done there. You're retired, you moved on, whatever it is. You're not in the business anymore, so it's kind of your own protocol. What she did for the business has been untouched and will be untouched. No other female will ever do what she has done in the business. So she made great strides for females and the representation of females in the business. So I would definitely be supportive of it, and I think it would be a mistake to not add her one day.
Do you follow the current product these days, and do you like what they're doing with the women's division?
I do. I always keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on, and I think right now it is a great time for women. I think they're doing a great job. Bringing back the women's title was key, and I think we're going to continue to see things moving in a positive direction now.
Well, we are talking with Trish Stratus. The movie Gridlock is available on Blu-ray and DVD. Since you're now promoting the release here of this so people can get there and own a copy of it, what is next for you?
I got a couple projects I'm looking at. I can't say exactly. I feel like every time in my life someone's asked me what's next, it's been such a crazy ride since back in 1999 when I was like a fitness model, and I would have never could have told you that, a few months later I'd be a WWE superstar. So, but I can tell you I'm happily raising my child. I'm looking at a few scripts, and my fitness and yoga business is doing very well. So that's my focus, and whatever happens next, I guess we'll have to do a follow-up interview.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on all the success that you've had over the years. The movie Gridlock is available now, Blu-ray, DVD. You could get it from trishstratus.com. Trish, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, too.
Definitely. Take care now. Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.
Scott Plex City.
Marks.